Shabbat Shalom, we go into another Shabbos, not being able to daven and to pray together. We ask Hashem to bring an end to the pandemic and to the illness, to heal all of those who need healing and to heal the hearts of those who have suffered loss, to allow us to once again come to daven together in shul, to open our schools and our businesses and our lives so that we're able to share precious moments together alongside one another. So we're talking about the Exodus, and amidst the storyline of the last three plagues, the locust and the darkness, and then the death of the firstborn, which we speak about on Pesach, amidst all of the details of the Exodus, the Jewish people are given the very first commandment, the mitzvah of counting time. HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, this month will be the first of all the months of the year. The month of the Exodus will now become the first month of the year. And in fact, so much so is that a part of our lives that the month of Rosh Hashanah, which we always see as the beginning of the year, is called in the Torah the first of the seventh month, because time will now be counted from the moment of the Exodus. And the Midrash and Ramban, the Nachmanides, and many of the commentaries speak about this new beginning. How could it be that an event in history is going to overshadow the advent of history? How can a moment in time override and become more important than the beginning of time itself? Rosh Hashanah is the time when the world was created. How can a moment of Exodus overshadow the beginning of the world itself? But the commentaries explain that Hashem put man into this world, the human being. Asher bara Elokim la'asot, Hashem created us to do, to make, to be partners of perfecting this world. And for that reason, v'yitgu b'of hashamayim, and Hashem allowed us to become the masters and the rulers over the birds of the heaven and the fish of the sea. And the intention of ruling meant to master it, to utilize the world for a purpose, to elevate it, to let everything become part of some godly mission. But that's not the way the world went, and people began to degenerate generation by generation, until, as the commentaries explain, the rock bottom of human being involved with decadence and the opposite of what the intended purpose of creation was Pharaoh. His rulership was not just over the birds of the heaven and the fish of the sea. He decided to rule over human beings, to enslave others for his own purpose, and to self-serve his own intentions in this world. That was the rock bottom of what the world was able to descend to, because human beings did not live up to their purpose. Hashem said we need a new beginning. We need a second pillar that's going to hold this world together. And that is the moment of the Exodus, when we leave Egypt and we go and aspire to the receiving of the Torah and a mission and a purpose to bring the world back to what it was intended to be, to bring the world back to the garden. And so important is this moment of responsibility, of accountability, of mission, of aspiring to meaning, that it does overshadow creation itself. Because the birth of the world did not necessarily promise a beautiful world. As we see, the world descended, decayed. It is only when we bring purpose and mission into this world that we're able to bring the world and give credulence and reason to exist to the creation of the world. That comes with mission and purpose. And in our own lives, we have two beginnings, each and every one of us. We have a beginning when we're born into this world, when everyone celebrates and says, Baruch Hashem, Mazel Tov, so-and-so has arrived in the world. But then we have a second beginning. It's the moment of Barmitzvah, of Batmitzvah, when a young girl becomes an adult woman, a young boy becomes an adult man. And bar mitzvah means that I have a purpose, I have a meaning, I have a responsibility, I have accountability. I aspire to fulfill Hashem's purpose in this world. I have a mitzvah that I can perform. That's when our lives attain maturity, responsibility, and that's when we give meaning to the Mazel Tov of birth. That in itself is not going to necessarily be a celebration for the rest of our lives. Human beings can unfortunately do terrible things in the world. When we are a bar mitzvah, when we begin to become of age, as the Jewish people did at the moment of the Exodus, then we bring creation, birth, to a meaningful purpose. This Shabbat is Yuchabat, it is the anniversary of the passing of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, who gave his life a Mesirut Nefesh both in Russia and across the world and in America to build Judaism against all odds in the most difficult dark hours. And by extension, the sun sets and the sun rises. It is not only the date that remembers the passing of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, but the day that the Rebbe became the leader, that he was able to affect the world as he did. So Yuchabat, the Shabbos, commemorates and celebrates leadership, the power to affect the world positively. And my Rebbe, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, inspired me and millions of others to look for leadership in a way that you can affect and serve and make the world a better place, to see the world not only for how we ourselves can derive from it the pleasures of self-satisfaction, but there's a mission, there's a purpose to join people in every corner of the world, to make sure that redemption is not only about me personally, but it is about redeeming the world. And that's why the greatest desire of my Rebbe was to bring Mashiach, to bring a redemption to the world, where we will resolve the problems, not just by the individual answer to the specific problem, but by resolving the entire world, by having it redeemed with our righteous Redeemer. May that moment of Mashiach come a moment sooner. Have a beautiful Shabbos. I can't wait to share Shabbos together very soon.